Now tuning in to Earbud Media. Audio for everyone.
Can I get a hell yeah in the chat?
That's our vocal warm-up, is just hell yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that that's thematically appropriate.
Yeah. Maybe hell yeah will be our always. You know what I mean?
I literally just took a sip of my protein shake and could have ruined my whole audio setup because of your fucking bit. Here I am trying to pregame with my protein shake, and your goofs...
I'm trying to pump up over here.
Your goofs almost ruined my 2017 laptop that's hanging on by a goddamn dream.
Whoopsie.
No, but for real though, speaking of, I love the threads in my brain. I saw a TikTok this week of someone being like, have you heard, it was one of those like, sit down fuckers, I'm going to tell you the story. It was like, have you heard of these things called paper towns? And I was like, I gotta log off.
I can't be here anymore.
It wasn't the book, it wasn't the movie, it was like, have you heard of these things on maps called paper towns? And I was like, I gotta go touch grass, man.
Everything reminds me of her, you know?
I need to go just walk into the woods.
Yeah. Respectfully, I'm gonna recuse myself, but you guys have fun, you know?
Who the fuck got access to John Green's internet history from 20 years ago and is now just making TikToks out of it?
God.
Welcome to Twilight.
Oh.
Not to start this podcast on a downer or whatever, but Renesmee is 18, so that sucks.
Yeah. There was a lot of tweets this week that I really didn't appreciate, that I didn't want to see with my own two human eyes.
I just wish that I didn't need to be reminded of the passage of time in that regard.
Right. Like, I'm already here, I'm already feeling the weight on my shoulders and the weight in my bones, right? I'm good, you don't have to be so direct like that.
Never Forget takes on a really weird context of this show anyways, but it's just like,
sure.
Now she's 18.
Yeah. It's sick and twisted.
It's a sick and twisted
HBD,
omen,
I
because
guess.
fucking Jacob's just like, you're 18 now.
Yeah, I don't want to be here. Yeah, Jacob's what, like 45? Yeah,
like, what do you mean that Renesmee is also going to be voting in this election with me? What? In this state? With me?
Yeah.
I mean, fingers crossed that her parents let her vote, you know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
But hate that passage of time. Hate it.
Yeah.
But alas, y'all need to remind us of that, as if we're not already burdened with that knowledge. Yeah. Hate it. Hate that.
God, yeah.
Hi.
Yo.
Hi, how are you?
I'm out here.
Who's this man?
I brought to you a man. I technically am not bringing you this man specifically, though he is related. I'm bringing actually a little, like, I've been on my daily game grind. I love my little word puzzles in the morning, I love to do a little Sudoku. I love to do a little crossword. A connections, perhaps. A little trivia.
Yeah.
Feels good for me. I love it. And I've been watching this guy, Northern Lion, who's like he's been streaming for fucking ever. Like, he's an OG. And he's just this, like, very funny bald man in Canada who's, like, a dad and just, like, plays little trivia games. And it's very fun. But he's been playing this game that was very much, like, in the era of, like, all the Wordle clones, right? Of, like, everyone can make their own version. And someone made a movie one called, and the name is horrible, Cinna 2 Nerdle. Really bad name. It's really bad. Not a fan. But there's a battle mode feature, which is highlighted here, of you get started with a movie and it's like you versus another person, and they keep trying to like either like get a new movie that has a connection to it. So either an actor, a director, writer, whatever the fuck.
Okay.
And you just kind of keep going, and so you can go to like really galaxy brain like connections to kind of like stump someone, or like, you know, find us like list a very niche movie that like, you know, Robert Downey Jr. was in or something.
Okay.
And have a little back and forth, and it's fucking addicting. I can't stop.
It sounds like the game is Snaps or whatever.
Yes. Yeah. And it's very just like, you know, reflexive, and you only get like 20 seconds. So it's like, obviously like Googling is they'll like actually call you out and be like, hey, this other person is like switching a tab. So they're definitely Googling something.
Oh no.
So it's very much like first association kind of thing, but also trying to be like enough to either move a direction of like, these are more my speed of like reference points of movies or something.
Okay.
And it's thrilling, it's electric. I love a little PvP situation, and I feel like it's making my brain better at trivia, because I feel like I watch a lot of movies, but I also don't remember names or who is in them until I think about it for a long time. So I think this is getting better at my like trivia reflexes. And it's very fun. It's just like a fun little lo-fi typing and clicking kind of game. Just using your brain and the power of movies, and it's very fun.
Respectfully, Shiny Dude, you were exactly who I imagined playing this game.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
I love that. All right, I will add this to my repertoire. Usually, when I think about the games that I use to relax, it's just me fighting with like 55-year-old Karens on my Yahtzee app.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Because they're like, why are you so good at this? And it's like, I don't know, man. Sorry about it.
Sorry, I'm built different. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm here.
Yeah.
I've still been deep in my Critical Role grind. So I needed to bring something else to the space. And the only thing that brought me genuine joy this week is that I found online cat who is living what I can imagine is one of my cat's personal dreams.
Sure.
Of just getting to explore the world. This cat's name is Jack Spicer, named after the poet.
Incredible.
And he lives on a farm, and with two other pets. One is, so this cat in particular is a black and white cat. He kind of looks like, y'all know who people name their cats like Oreo, you know, like black and white cats that look like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
There's another cat named Pumpkin who's orange, and then there's this white ass dog named Olaf. And this guy makes TikToks of them, and they're on this farm, and they're always just jumping on hay bales, and a lot of the cats always have like bandanas on. It's really important for context to know that the two cats, most of them are just Jack Spicer. These cats are like 20 pounds. However, and I love a fat cat, these cats are the most athletic cats I've ever seen in my life. They're always running around doing parkour on these hay bales. They're running around in grass. They're living the best life I could possibly imagine. And they're also wonderfully, beautifully fat. It's just all muscle there, is what I can imagine.
Love. Yeah.
And the reason why I found this account and what made me cry from laughter is the account's owner started adding sound effects to the videos, because he doesn't do like commentary on them. He just started adding sound effects. So there was this moment where Olaf, the white dog, ran into Pumpkin, the pink cat, and he added this like car crash sound effect in what was otherwise just these cats like frolicking in the grass and on the hay bales. Yeah. And it made me laugh so hard that I cried.
I love that.
So it's just really peaceful. It's what I can imagine is the closest thing to ASMR. Sometimes Jack Spicer has a cowboy hat on, just a little cat-sized cowboy hat. And sometimes I get really nervous about cats that are like outdoor farm cats, but these ones stay inside. They just spend a lot of their day outside playing in the grass with their owners. And that just seems like a goddamn great time. And it makes me really happy.
Yeah, these guys are cute as hell. And I cannot wait to just watch a million videos in a row.
That's all. It's just very beautiful. And some of the captions on the videos are great and make me laugh. But the idea that these cats just get to, I don't know, explore the space, I think is really beautiful. So long live fat, beautiful, frolicking cats.
Yeah. Yes, forever and ever.
It makes me very happy. We have one piece of current events today that I'm very excited to talk about. Cody, could you tell the class about our movie news?
Absolutely. Pew, 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 pew. It's Case 2 Corner, baby. And a much anticipated and long awaited round these parts, which is an update and a photo from Kristen Stewart's directorial debut, Chronology of Water, that she has been talking about for a very long time. We have been talking about it for a very long time. Yes. That it was hard for her to get funding for it. She's basically just being like, fuck it, I need to do this kind of thing. And we have a photo of her on set with Imogen Poots, who is starring in the movie. And I just love that this exists and it's real, you know? Yes. It's like, this is proof, this is a thing that not just she was talking about like 5 years ago and then is not doing, she's fucking doing it. And it's here.
And it's done. It's shot, which was something that I was so concerned about of if it was going to be done, but it seems like over June and July that it was done. Yeah. Yeah. And we were so concerned earlier this year of like, oh shit. Casey was like, I'm not going to do any more things unless I get to do this. Right. And I'm so excited.
Yeah. So I am, waiting with bated breath for a release date, of that nature or anything. But I'm very excited that at least it's in the can. They'll do production and stuff. And hopefully we'll see this fucking movie soon. She's out here. She's doing her shit.
I'm so ready. I didn't even realize, I didn't put it together when I saw a photo of Kristen wearing these headphones earlier this week. I was just like, oh man, I must have missed this photo at some point in her career. But now, now that I know the context, it makes me even more excited. She's just on her director grind, and I'm so proud of her. Yeah. I can't wait. She's been pushing for this for so long, and I can't wait to see it. Probably next year at some point. Yeah. I'm so excited.
I also, there's other people in the cast here. I did not realize that Jim Belushi was going to be in this, which I am very interested in. Okay.
Yeah, I feel like we just knew about Imogen. Yeah. But go knowing now about Jim, he's got to be, 60?
Yeah, probably around that range. Ish?
Yeah. Because he's been in the game for forever. Yeah. You've piqued my interest.
Right. Yeah. We got Thora Birch in here. Okay, I'm seated. I was already seated, but I'm, even more seated.
It makes sense though, because I think the last that I had heard about Jim was that he's also Pacific Northwest. I remember seeing something in my local, family talking about, last year he was growing weed in Oregon. So I'm wondering if that's... Because the Chronology of Water is, a memoir from, like based in Oregon, so I'm wondering if that's why. I have questions. But okay, Belushi, let's go.
Yeah. I'm seated. I'm here.
I was already seated, but okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about this episode.
Dude.
And that's complimentary this week.
Yeah. There's a lot going on.
Last week I made the mistake of thinking like, oh, well, Stefan's back, so he's probably not going to be on his like crime grind anymore.
Right. Surely
And
he's
surely
good now,
not.
better.
And the writers were like, you thought. So fuck me, I guess.
Right.
There is no way to talk about this episode without just a shit ton of content warnings.
Yeah.
I would say, I mean, obviously there's a lot of compulsion here. I think the one that stood out the most to me when I was taking notes was Matt's death question, like in quotes.
Yeah.
Which is like, he knew that he was going to come back, but not sure. And especially since this is September, I think that that's something to keep in mind of like, homeboy intentionally put weights on himself and jumped into a pool. So like,
yeah.
I think that there isn't a lot to, I don't know that I would call it a suicide attempt, but out of context, it's hard not to see it that way. So
for sure. Yeah. There's
I think
definitely
that, like,
layers there.
I think that it is hard not to talk about this episode without like a lot of compulsion and death going on, which again, that's this whole show, but also not your thing. We'll see you next week. I don't know about you, but I kind of vibed with the fact that this episode just like started. That we didn't get any preamble, we were just in it.
We were fucking in it. Yeah. And I love episodes like this where it's like very contained, right? Like obviously there's a lot of other arcs and narrative things that are across different things, but it being on this like within the school after hours of like this like senior prank night or whatever, which by the way, I know these kids are just trying to forget their problems, right? And just have like regular normal teen fun, but maybe I wouldn't gather like that at night unsupervised, given the situations that are currently happening.
No,
but I digress.
literally.
Like Caroline, I love you. I know you're just like trying to make everyone smile and have a good time, but let's do a little stranger danger, right? Let's protect each other, you know?
And also like, Caroline, I love you. Your mom's the sheriff. Like,
right. Yeah.
You are having at least 20, I would say, is a generous amount, doing a B&E. You think like these are minors. You gotta have a chaperone around. I know that this episode wouldn't work with Rick around, but just say like, oh, we had to have Rick go to Walmart to get more whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I know that it doesn't make sense for the context of this episode, but if this is a tradition that happens, you're not going to tell adults.
Yeah.
Okay, sure, whatever. Right. Not like all of your families aren't part of all of the positions of power here. Okay.
Right. And like, even with all of that, I do appreciate a episode that is like kind of just like a lockdown kind of episode of like everyone's here kind of thing. And also we saw so much more of the school than we've literally ever seen before on this television show. But yeah, I love that kind of energy and feeling that kind of also suffocates this whole thing.
I actually am not over this. You start the school year off with a prank?
Yeah, right. Yeah, that is a little
Our senior prank was like, and usually this is how it works, but whatever. Usually senior pranks are like the end of the year. Mm-hmm. To start the school year off with a prank, with a little goof 'em up, okay. maybe we just do it differently here. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe you want to start the school year off by super gluing Rick's desk shut. Okay.
God.
Great. But I agree with you. I think that, like, Damon's storyline aside, having it all be in one location, I was in it. I love that we just started off with Matt there. I was hooked from the jump.
Yeah.
His whole thing, this episode, if you had told me like a year ago, hey, you're going to watch an episode and you're going to be worried about Matt and Tyler, I would have laughed at you.
Yeah. Like, how things have changed for us, you know?
For real. And I think that,
like,
obviously I'm worried about Tyler because I genuinely care about his character now.
Yeah,
I felt myself
and he's gotten the shaft. He can't get a win out here.
No,
it's
he
tough.
Cannot. I mean, to be fair, he ended this episode pretty good. But I was worried about Matt in a very different way because of what Anna has said about the darkness TM with Vicky.
Yeah.
Hey, Vicky, why are you trying to kill your brother?
Right. Like, I'm confused.
What?
I'm a little, what's your deal? You know?
What's your deal, girl? Why
Ghost
are you trying
Vicky?
to kill your brother?
Right.
Because I
You just want to hang out in the ghost space? Is that what it is? Like, seems a little selfish, Vicky.
Yeah. I was already, like, your storyline's sad enough, girl.
Right.
But why are you trying to... It is hard not to see what happened this episode as anything other than, Vicky, you led your brother to... And again, he did not die. He was unconscious. But everything about what happened when he went underwater, like, the natural reaction is to fight when you are drowning. They made it explicitly clear, like a very close-up shot. He was not fighting.
Yeah.
So, Vicky, you're the darkness, girl. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Until I know any differently, like, I think that we need to get you out of purgatory and get you to move on. Because you're trying to kill you're trying to kill minors.
This isn't healthy or helpful for anyone, Vicky, and especially yourself. You know, I don't think this is doing what you want it to.
No, because the face that Matt made at the end of this episode, when he finally got to see the ghost of his sister, broke me, and not in a good way. Mm-hmm. I felt a lot of emotion for Matt, but in a way of, like, I feel bad for you. And that's not good. Matt. You're not okay with being the only human? Yikes, bud. Stop being a pick-me.
Yeah, God.
I know that you have a really shitty life.
For sure.
I am fully aware of that. But hey, bud, we need to get you to a counselor.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm starting to think you can't handle this on your own, and I think that's brave and honorable and true. You know,
like,
let's not.
Everyone in this show needs a therapist, but right now, Matt, you have moved to the top of my list, which I was not expecting.
Yeah.
I was fine with you. Like, I was already worried about you, but you were not in immediate danger, and now you've moved to the top of my list. So what the fuck?
Right.
He's stressing me out. Another thing that shocked me this episode was, and I guess I wasn't shocked, but I knew, because they had told us this before, that Rebecca had a worse temper than Klaus.
Yeah.
They had explicitly said that.
Yeah.
I was not prepared to see what that actually looked like in action.
Yeah.
Because she has no impulse control. And that's saying something, because Klaus doesn't either.
Yeah, but listen, you wake up a gal after 100 years, and she's got shit going on here. That I was not expecting how kind of brutal it was going to be.
There's a moment this episode where Klaus shifts into good cop mode.
Yeah.
And I was so taken aback by that, because this is Klaus, I need to make a master race Mikkelsen.
Yeah.
But he was so like, oh damn, sorry about my sister. I like, whoa. I need to tone down my whole thing a bit.
Yeah.
And I
even too when she like sees Elena and she's like, oh, the last doppelganger was like a lot prettier. It's like, fuck. Like, that's not even like the worst. Obviously there's like actually bad things she's done, but that one was just so like mean girl. It's like, damn, okay. Salt in the wound, man. Fuck.
The actress this episode is so good.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden, maybe that drive from Chicago to Mystic Falls was longer than I thought, because now Rebecca understands a blueberry and how to take selfies. She has a lot more cultural awareness than she did last episode, but that line, which is so funny, right? Because it defeats the whole purpose of what a doppelganger is. She's just saying it to be so rude.
She just wants to be mean, yeah.
she's just saying it to be rude.
No.
But that line when Elena's like, "Girl, I don't have your necklace," and she's like, "Well, I'm gonna bite you anyway, because like, get the fuck out of my face." And it's just like, Rebecca, like, what the?
It's like, well, I know you had it at some point, so I'm still gonna fuck you up.
And it's like, that is how we're so used to in media seeing vampires try to act with humanity that when they actually lean into these instincts of like, you know what, fuck it, it feels shocking, but it's like, yeah, you know what, I guess. Sure, that makes sense, I guess. I think there was also a moment at the start of the episode too when she was fighting with Stefan, being like, oh yeah, you don't like Elena? You don't? We clocked you. I clocked you so early, Stefan, you're a shitty liar.
God, yeah.
He's, Paul, this episode, was on it.
Yeah, rent was due, for sure.
I'm glad that I was wrong last episode in thinking like, oh, he was going to go back to being sad and sappy Stefan.
Yeah.
Because the work that he puts into Stefan this episode was really good. Usually when we've gotten Stefan before, when he does these whole monologues, it's like, oh, don't hurt someone, like I'm so damaged. It comes from like whiny baby Rose tattoo.
Right. I'm just so sad.
I'm so tortured.
Life is really hard. You don't know what I've been through.
It's different this episode because he's nasty. He's a nasty little man.
Yeah.
And I was really proud of him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you can like see
barely restrained nature.
Yeah. Like it's so like what's the word? Like so easy to fall out of his grasp, right? Like the control and stuff over things. And I think this is like what we've been like honestly asking for Stefan's character this whole time. Because we got like a little bit of it when he like for lack of a better word, like relapsed on that kind of stuff. And so we got like hints of that, but those were kind of like few and fleeting, and being like, he's good, he's got a handle on it, he's for sure really comfortable with his relationship to humanity and like his past, totally, for sure. But now it feels a lot more concrete and weighted, of not just the emotional pull, but like the physical manifestation of that under, like compulsion, and also trying to like withstand that in a much more real way. But goddamn, it's tough.
It's so, and I will have to say, like, I still don't find anything redeeming about Klaus right now.
Right, yeah.
But the actor this episode, I was entranced by him. Mm-hmm. Though I'm not interested in the character. Because I think that there were a couple moments when Klaus, like, found Elena in hallways. Mm-hmm. Where, especially the first time, I fully thought it was going to be, like, a dream sequence.
Yeah.
Just because I was like, what is happening? Like, I don't know where we are right now. But all of the moments in the gym itself, when he was, like, trying to compel that couple, which, goddamn, those two kids went through a lot.
Yeah.
But I feel like more than I've seen the last few times with Klaus, like this episode in particular, I started to really see the allure of Klaus in a bad way, of like his compulsion. And I don't know what the actor did differently this time, but there was something about the like telling Stefan of like, if Elena tries to leave, like fracture her spine or something, and like putting the time up on the gym, it was just so stereotypical bad guy. And that actor does a really good job of being a bad guy.
Oh yeah.
That I was like, I don't understand anything about Klaus. I'm not rooting for him, but you are doing a very good job right now at this. And I like you.
Yeah.
So good job. But I fully thought, like, when they gathered Caroline and Tyler and Elena, and Bonnie in the gym, I thought he was going to redo the ritual in the gym.
Totally. Yeah.
And then he was just like, Bonnie needs to figure out this answer. Sir.
Right.
20 minutes.
Like, I'm giving you a homework assignment.
That's less than a sitcom. What the hell?
Yeah. That's, God. Like, poor girl. Just trying to, like, do her thing. Hang out with her friends.
Trying to toilet paper a pool. She just can't get a break.
She just wants a senior prank night. Is that a crime? Right. Is that a crime? Yeah, but I do like the implication of just being like, ugh, I've tried every way and it's not working, so Bonnie, it's like 17-year-old, how about you figure it out for me? Thank you. I do love, too, that, like, kind of the whole gag, because this whole time it was like, why isn't this ritual thing working, right?
Right.
Because, obviously, the first version of it was like, Elena was not dead, and so it was like, uh-oh. You had to do the sacrifice, you had to do the ritual, right? And all of that. But having the, like, kind of, like, galaxy brain moment of being like, wait a goddamn minute. Like, the OG witch fucking hated me. so maybe she just fucking lied to me. And just said the opposite of what is true. And that's hilarious. Like, that's as a plot device. Like, it's so funny. Of just being like, just thousands of years of beef.
Yeah.
Compiling into, like, his one, master plan or whatever. And she just, like, tells him the opposite. And he's like, bet. And he's like, I didn't think for a second. It's like, maybe she didn't say the truth.
That's the most realistic thing that this show
completely. No. it's so real. Because it's like, yeah, fuck this guy, right? And he will go on a bajillion year, like, goose chase.
Yep.
For this, and fuck it up several times before realizing, you know, maybe sometimes people don't tell me the truth. Because I'm not pleasant. He doesn't
do plan Bs at all.
No. But it's so fucking funny. That it's like, no, it's just her blood, dog. Like, she doesn't have to die. This whole time, this has been a thing for, like, multiple seasons now. Like, ooh, is Elena gonna die? Ooh. To be the sacrifice? Whoa. It's like, nah. I mean, she's not in a great position right now, but still, it doesn't have to be death. Yeah.
And the way that Tyler ends this episode being like, yeah, man, it's like I had a fucking V8. Like, I feel amazing right now.
Yeah, I'm like, listen, on one hand, it's like, he didn't even want to be a werewolf in the first place, and now he's, a test, like, species of hybrid of both werewolf and now vampire. But if he seems like, he just got like a nice testosterone rush or whatever, that's fine. I'm happy for you, dog. Like, if you can ride this out, that's cool.
Yeah, I would rather you not, I'd rather Elena not have to set up like the opposite of a blood drive. But
right. Yeah.
I'd also prefer that the people taking her blood in a safe amount will not kill her. So if it means that the people that she loves don't die, I think she would find that acceptable.
Yeah.
So whatever works for her. But
sure.
I did think that was super nasty at the end when she just wakes up and is in that hospital and she's like, wait a second, you're not pumping blood into me, you're taking blood out of me. And the nurse is like, I don't see the problem, ma'am. She's like,
this is how we handle all accidents.
I'm in hell.
Yeah, God.
Which reminds me, the B plot with Damon this episode was, I was nervous going into this episode because I knew, I was like, of course fucking Damon skipped town with Catherine. They're just fucking sucking face. They're just gonna, like, I hate these two.
The tension is palpable.
Right. He just wants to suck face with Elena and get out of Dodge, right?
Yeah.
But of course, nothing is ever straightforward with Catherine.
No.
Why did you kidnap her brother?
Yeah. It's like, hey, this I got a weird feeling in the trunk. Oh, it's an adult man. It's just unconscious.
If Damon would ever turn on his fucking senses for 2 seconds, he would be able to
frustrating.
Smell Gilbert blood.
Yeah.
But no, he leaves those off by default.
Yeah. I hate him.
He's just like, oh no, of course it smells like a Gilbert in here because I've had Elena in here, so guess I don't need to worry about that.
Right, yeah, it's just residual human blood smell. It's not current, new, fresh, beating blood in the back of my truck.
Damon.
Make me sick.
It's so good that Jeremy's like, first of all, where are we? So I can why I was playing WoW.
Yeah.
Why am I here? What do you want?
And also, like, surely there was a more normal way to do that, right? Because I feel like for most of this, Jeremy's down to clown, right?
Jeremy's very down to clown now.
He will always, like, join Damon on a little buddy hunt, a little tag team duo situation. Catherine didn't need to do all that. She could have just been like, hey man, kind of need you for something really important. It's gonna maybe save everyone and maybe be really good for us. And he'd be like, for sure, tap me in, coach, let's go. Didn't have to just drug him and throw him in the back of your car in the trunk. My dude.
No, literally.
He probably would have been fine.
Catherine did this whole thing when Jeremy would have done it for like $50.
Literally. No, exactly. It's just like, yeah, I'm cool. Like, if I can go to GameStop after, that'd be sick. But like,
No, literally.
you know, I'm down to help for the cause. You know, didn't have to do all that.
You don't need to like interrogate me at this random rest stop. You can just give me like an Xbox gift card and I'm good. God damn.
Right. Yeah. Oh my god.
But now we know that there is actually like there's a bad guy. That Klaus isn't just that there is plot, I guess. He's not just making these hybrids for nothing.
Mm-hmm. Right.
There was a moment too, I remember writing this down, that Rebecca says this. It's like the first time that we've seen Klaus get vulnerable, because she's like, your obsession with hybrids, like you just don't want to be alone. And only a sibling could say that to Klaus without him going like nuclear.
Yeah.
Because that's what it seemed like for most of this, is that he's one, lonely, and also a fascist. But now he's also a fascist and there's an enemy, question mark?
Right.
So, someone in Charlotte who was buried in chains. Because that's normal.
The vampire who hunts vampires. Ooh. Ooh. Okay.
Cool.
Okay. All right.
And it was the fucking cop from Chicago, who I know very well because he's been in Supernatural episodes. He was there for like 2 seasons.
Yeah. Respect.
But it makes a lot more sense now why Klaus was like, we gotta go because they're shooting with real bullets.
Yeah.
I will say there were that moment with Damon and Catherine and Jeremy. Aside from giving him a concussion, which like, Damon, stop.
Yeah.
Just because Jeremy's already died doesn't mean that he cannot get brain injuries, so stop.
Yeah, come on now.
I remember writing something down where I think Jeremy was like, thanks for your concern, Dick. And it was, I think he was trying to pretend like he had a concussion and he didn't know how to say Damon's name. But the beef between the two of them, I enjoy a lot and am very appreciative of.
Yeah, I'm looking. I'm listening. I
love it. How much guilt do you think Damon has for not being at the school when Stefan almost killed Elena?
God, like infinity plus. Are you kidding? Like, the limit does not exist. This man's whole thing is being like, hey, listen, Stefan can be a little bit of a wild card, and I'm just here. You know, to like, just swoop on in, because sometimes Elena's in danger all the time.
Yeah.
And the one time when it was probably like really, 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 really important to be there, he had to fuck around with Catherine. And sure, they're doing other stuff, but also my dog.
But also he promised Stefan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that he would be like the number one protector all the time. Because Stefan was not supposed to be here. And that was that little rule. That was a little thing that they agreed on. And he's like, actually, gotta hang out with my ex, do a real relationship, and also my not ex, but not girlfriend, but not question mark, brother in the back of the car. See you later. You guys couldn't figure it out. You guys good. Being alone at school at night, totally safe. Nothing bad will ever happen here. It
was interesting to see Klaus be like, listen, dude, I haven't compelled you in 90 years. Because I haven't needed to. You're desperate enough to follow along for me. Mm-hmm. But now, you're not listening to what I'm saying. And I need a friend around, but also a friend that I can control. So, I'm going to compel you to try and kill Elena, but when you pretend to try and fight my compulsion, I'm just going to turn your humanity off. Because you're not going to do it yourself. Yeah. Ooh. Not before you try to stab yourself with a broom.
Right. Yeah, it's like, if you're gonna get a little theatrical with it, I won't say no to that, but we gotta know what the end goal is here. My guy.
This is a very CW thing. They love to play with humanity and souls. This is so I'm not surprised by this, but I'm nervous now. Because what do you mean? What do you mean that he's... Yeah. I don't like the idea of Stefan the Ripper Salvatore with his humanity turned off.
Yeah, that was like kind of the one thing I had going for him. And him just like casually strolling into the house and being like, everything's chilled. Don't worry about it.
I was obsessed
not a fan.
with that.
Yeah.
Because Damon was doing his whole thing, right? Of like, he had light in his eyes and was like trying to give the necklace over to Elena and be like, look, I picked you a flower. And she's like full ass traumatized. Like, I don't want you to compel me to forget this because I need to remember watching the light leave Stefan's eyes. But also, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then he just strolls into the house. Which, I needed to think about this for a second because I was like, wait a second. This is Elena's house. But then I remembered she had invited him in last time.
Yep.
I wish there was a way that she could just fucking reset it or whatever.
Yeah, do a factory reset. It's like, hey, actually, no more, please. Thank you.
But him just strolling in and being like, no, y'all can keep up with this romantic moment. It's fine. It doesn't bother me at all. I just am going to be here.
Yeah. Like, you guys continue to do what you're doing. You won't even notice me. I'm so chill. It's all good here. Don't even worry, man. We're cool.
Paul is so good at it, and now I'm very excited.
Yeah, I'm very pro Paul in this season. What he's given. Yeah.
Now getting to see Paul be around and seemingly next episode starting senior year without his humanity and be like, oh yeah, well no, I just need to make sure that like you're still alive because Klaus needs your blood, but I don't care about you.
Yeah,
I don't have.
Think of me as just like your side bed nurse. Like, I'm just here to get my what I need from your body. And we're good. Very transactional.
I'm emotionally. It's causing you emotional pain for me to be around. That's weird. I don't understand why.
There's nothing to. I don't understand.
I don't understand.
What are feelings? I'm confused.
Oh no.
This is gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
Them naming next episode from a Nirvana song makes me want to shoot into space.
Yeah, it's nasty work, for sure.
It's gonna send Elena to go back to, like, writing in the cemetery.
Yes, God. And honestly, maybe she needs that, right? Like, it's been a while since she's really felt emotions like that, you know? It's kind of been blocking off a lot. Maybe it'd be good to really just let loose a little.
She might need some catharsis there.
Yeah.
But it is, thus far, even though it's been an emotionally painful season, I've been very impressed by the acting thus far.
Yeah.
So, it just hurts, that's all.
Yeah.
It's just very painful for my spirit. We have some amazing patrons to thank. Do you want to start us off?
Absolutely. Hold on, my tab froze. Okay, here we go. Thank you to Callista Lockwood.
Ooh, thank you to Sean Salvatore.
Pew, pew, pew. Thank you to Megan Pattinson.
Ooh, thank you to Katya Karp.
Ow. Thank you to Ashlyn Vogel.
Ooh, thank you to Genevieve Morgan.
Pew. Thank you to Danielle Burke.
Ooh, thank you to Janae Bennett.
Ow. Thank you to Sophia Salinger.
Ooh, thank you to Dan Zeklos.
Pew pew. Thank you to Emily Ozera.
Ooh, and last but certainly not least, thank you to Jaylene Ivishka.
Pew pew.
So I wanted to find a fanfiction that would be a little bit lighter. So this is by the author Pixelated Dreamer.
Okay.
It's titled As You Wish, and the summary is Stefan's humanity is off and he's on a bender with Klaus. Elena, Damon, Bonnie, and Caroline have a plan to put it to an end for good just as soon as they figure out this wish thing any day now. And there are 3 chapters. I'm reading from chapter 1.
All right.
What is this? A therapy box for ants? At the confused and annoyed look from Caroline, Damon scoffed. Never seen Zoolander? Kids these days. They continued to stare at the box Caroline had explained to them, having rushed back from her solo trip to Duke. Designed for therapy, the box used the combined consciousness of all the participants to generate a realistic simulation, allowing them to work through their issues, or in this case, Stefan's issues. Stefan was on a break from his latest bender with Klaus, this time determined to help Klaus complete the ritual with Elena so he could make his hybrids. Bonnie was still warding the door against the pack of desperate werewolves fleeing from Stefan and Klaus, knowing that their only salvation lay in capturing Elena no matter the cost in other lives. Elena's hand was cupped around a saucer-sized silver coin, an inhuman face shining up at her. Reptilian eyes set in a ram's face, wearing a solemn expression. Despite the horns and slit pupils, she imagined the creature looked kind. Maybe that was just wishful thinking. What are we waiting for? We have to figure out how to use this Gabrielle thing before Stefan gets here and goes all ripper on us again, said Caroline. It's called a Gavriel, Bonnie corrected. She gave all her friends a determined look, one hand resting on the box. Are you guys ready? We probably won't get this on the first try, but time passes much more quickly in there, so we have a few more chances. Remember, we can't just use it to stop this chase. That will only buy us a day or 2 at most, and it doesn't have enough power to kill an original. Let's do this, monster, Damon replied with a wink. End scene.
Okay.
Sometimes you just have to use Zoolander to solve Stefan's problems.
You know, and isn't that just the naturally healing, all healing substance?
Whatever works, I guess.
Yeah, listen, yeah.
I honestly, at this point, I don't know when it's going to happen. I'm going to stop making guesses because every time that I say it delays it further. So I'm just going to say that, like, soulless Stefan lasts all season.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Well, friends, I have a new game to play. So that's what I'm going to be doing all week. Tell your friends and your family about the show. And as we say here in the Pacific Northwest,
get bit.
Ooh.
Ow.
Into the Twilight is an Earbud Media production. You can follow us on Twitter at Into the Twilight or on TikTok at Into the Twilight Show. You can find me at Cody Corral on Twitter and Allie at Alexandria Does. And you can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/Into the Twilight. We have merch, so much stuff. All those links are in the episode description. And make sure to rate and review us on your favorite podcast hosting platform. It really helps the show. Thanks. Bye.
You've been listening to Earbud Media Production. Earbud Media, audio for everyone.